Welcome to English Learning Class.
Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled you're hanging out with me today. Look, we've all been there. You're sitting in an interview, writing an important email, or trying to chat with colleagues, and you feel like your English is stuck on repeat. You keep using the exact same basic words over and over again. Well, today, that stops. We are deep diving into 100 powerful, high-impact English words that will instantly elevate your vocabulary, boost your speaking confidence, and make you sound incredibly professional. These aren't just fancy words you find in dusty old dictionaries. These are real, living words used daily in corporate offices, universities, movies, and high-level negotiations. So, grab a notebook, get comfortable, and let's get right into it. Let's start strong with word number 1, accomplish. This simply means to successfully complete a task or reach a goal, especially after a lot of hard work. Think about your ultimate career milestones. For example, she accomplished her lifelong dream of becoming a doctor. It sounds so much more powerful than just saying she got her goal, right? Our second word is adaptable. In today's world, things change fast, and if you are adaptable, it means you are able to adjust quickly and easily to new situations. For instance, smart employees are highly adaptable in fast-changing workplaces. If your boss changes the software you use overnight and you handle it with a smile, you are adaptable. Next up is analyze. To analyze means to examine something carefully and critically to understand it better. It's a massive word in corporate and academic settings. Instead of saying, "I need to look at the data," try saying, "Detectives analyze clues to solve mysteries," or "We need to analyze our quarterly sales." Word number 4 is appreciate. Now, we use this to mean saying thank you, but it deeply means to value something or someone highly. For example, "I really appreciate your support during difficult times." It shows genuine warmth and emotional intelligence. And rounding out our first 5 is approach. This is a way of dealing with a situation or a problem. For example, her approach to learning English is very creative. If your current method isn't working, you don't give up, you just change your approach. Standing out in the workplace. Let's keep this momentum going with words that will make you shine in any professional setting. Word number 6 is beneficial. Instead of constantly saying something is good, use beneficial, which means helpful, useful, or producing good results. For example, drinking enough water is highly beneficial for your health. Next is capable. If you are capable, it means you have the necessary ability, skills, or power to do something successfully. It breeds confidence. For instance, she is completely capable of handling difficult situations on her own. Then we have a word I absolutely adore, collaborate. Please stop just saying work together. Collaborate sounds infinitely more professional. It means to work jointly on an activity or project to create something. For example, great teams collaborate to achieve massive success. Of course, not everything is easy. Sometimes things are complicated. This means difficult to analyze, understand, or explain because of complex factors. For instance, the software setup instructions looked incredibly complicated at first, but we figured it out. And when things get tough, you have to concentrate. This means to direct all your attention, effort, and intense focus onto a single activity. For example, students must concentrate deeply during their final exams. Vocabulary isn't just about business, it's about how we treat people. Word 11 is considerate. A considerate person is someone who is exceptionally kind, thoughtful, and always thinks about the feelings and rights of others. For example, he was considerate enough to help the elderly woman cross the busy street. To make real progress in life, you also need to be consistent. This means always acting or behaving in the same reliable way or continuing to have the same high standards. For instance, consistent practice improves your pronunciation faster than anything else. When you give feedback to someone, you want it to be constructive. This means serving a useful purpose or helping to improve something, rather than just criticizing it. For example, the teacher gave constructive feedback on my writing, which helped me score higher. If you want people to agree with your constructive ideas, you have to convince them. To convince means to completely persuade someone to believe something or to take a specific action. For example, She successfully convinced her parents to allow her to go on the international trip. And why did she succeed? Because she was dedicated. When you are dedicated, you are wholly committed to a specific purpose, task, or cause. For example, he is fiercely dedicated to his career goals. Now, let's talk about performance. Word 16 is effective. This means producing a result that is wanted or having an intended, successful outcome. For instance, exercise is an incredibly effective way to reduce stress and stay healthy. But don't confuse that with efficient. While effective means getting the result, efficient means working with maximum productivity and minimum wasted effort, time, or expense. For example, she found an efficient solution to the problem that saved the company thousands of dollars. To keep people moving forward, we must encourage them. To encourage means to give someone support, confidence, or hope. For example, good teachers always encourage their students to ask difficult questions. Next is essential. When something is essential, it is absolutely necessary or extremely important. You cannot do without it. For example, getting 8 hours of quality sleep is essential for long-term mental health. And how do we know if something is working? We evaluate it. To evaluate means to form an idea of the amount, number, or value of something through careful judgment. For example, managers evaluate employee performance regularly to determine promotions. Let's talk about mindset and emotional control. Word 21 is flexible. Being flexible means you are able to change, adapt, or compromise easily without getting stressed. For instance, having flexible schedules makes balancing work and family life much easier. The opposite feeling of that balance is being frustrated. This means feeling annoyed, disappointed, or upset because you cannot achieve what you want or because things are going wrong. For example, he felt incredibly frustrated after losing his phone for the 3rd time this week. When you feel stuck, you might hesitate. To hesitate means to pause briefly before saying or doing something, usually because you are feeling uncertain, nervous, or reluctant. For instance, do not hesitate to ask for help when you are drowning in work. If you push past that hesitation, you can do something impressive. This means evoking admiration, respect, or awe through size, quality, or skill. For example, her singing performance at the gala was absolutely impressive. And that leads to becoming independent. Being independent means you are free from outside control and you do not rely on other people for your livelihood or authority. For instance, she worked multiple jobs and became completely financially independent at a very young age. Word 26 is influence. This is the capacity or power to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something. For example, social media has a massive influence on public opinions today. Once you reach a good position, you have to maintain it. To maintain means to keep something in good condition, or to cause a process or state to continue at the same high level. For example, regular exercise and a clean diet help maintain good physical health. To keep maintaining that level, you must stay motivated. Being motivated means having a strong internal reason, enthusiasm, or eagerness to achieve a specific goal. For example, successful athletes stay intensely motivated every single day, rain or shine. When working with others, you will inevitably need to negotiate. This means to obtain or bring about a desired outcome through mutual discussion and compromise. For example, the 2 massive tech companies negotiated a brand new contract. And throughout all of this, you must observe. To observe means to watch someone or something carefully and attentively, especially to learn something. For example, scientists observe animal behavior in nature for years to gather accurate data. We are entering some truly sophisticated territory now. Word 31 is organize. This means to arrange systematically or order things into a structured, functional whole. For example, she organized her cluttered desk neatly before starting the new project. When you do a perfect job, the result is outstanding. This means exceptionally good, distinguished, or clearly standing out from the crowd. For example, his performance during the client presentation was outstanding. It all comes down to your perspective. A perspective is a particular attitude towards something, a way of looking at a situation, or a specific point of view. For example, Traveling the world completely changes your perspective about human culture. But keep your ideas practical. If something is practical, it is concerned with the actual doing or use of something rather than just theories and ideas. For example, this specific language course teaches practical conversational skills you can use tonight. And always remain professional. This means behaving with the high skill, confidence, and polite manner expected of a trained person. For example, even under intense pressure, the customer service staff behaved in a highly professional manner. Word 36 is recommend. This means to advise or suggest something as a course of action because it is good or suitable. For example, I highly recommend this book to absolute beginners. To be someone people listen to, you must be reliable. A reliable person is consistently good in quality or performance and completely trustworthy. For example, Ahmed is a reliable friend who will always show up when you call. When problems appear, a reliable person will resolve them. To resolve means to settle or find a definitive solution to a problem or dispute. For example, the customer success team resolved the technical issue remarkably quickly. This requires being resourceful. If you are resourceful, you are extraordinarily good at finding clever, quick ways to overcome difficulties. For example, resourceful people stay calm and find alternative routes during emergencies, and your impact will be significant. This means sufficiently great or important to be worthy of attention or having a major meaning. For example, early childhood education has a significant, lifelong impact on society. Let's finish the first half of our list with 10 incredibly sharp words. Word 41 is sophisticated. This means having or appealing to a great deal of worldly experience, culture, and advanced refinement. For example, the luxury hotel has a highly sophisticated interior design. To achieve big things, you need a strategy. A strategy is a careful, high-level plan of action designed to achieve a long-term or overall aim. For example, the head coach created a brilliant, winning strategy for the championship game. Along the way, make sure you are surrounded by supportive people. Being supportive means providing active encouragement, emotional help, or practical assistance to someone. For example, her parents were deeply supportive of her dreams to study abroad. Remember that setbacks are usually just temporary. This means lasting, existing, or serving for only a limited, short period of time, not permanent. For example, the road closure is temporary, so don't worry about your morning commute next week. When you do your work, be thorough. This means executing a task with absolute completeness, extreme care, and attention to every single detail. For example, the police conducted a thorough investigation of the crime scene. Word 46 is understandable. This means completely normal, reasonable, or easy to comprehend. For example, the math teacher gave an easily understandable explanation of a very difficult formula, and that knowledge is highly valuable. This means worth a great deal of money or extremely useful and important for your growth. For example, hands-on experience is incredibly valuable in any career path you choose. If you can apply that experience anywhere, you are versatile. Being versatile means you are able to adapt or be adapted to many different functions, tasks, or activities. For example, she is a versatile musician who can play the piano, violin, and guitar flawlessly. To achieve that level of skill, you have to be ambitious. This means having or showing a strong, fierce determination to succeed, obtain power, or reach wealth. For example, he is an ambitious and hardworking young professional who aims to be a CEO. And finally, word 50, appropriate. This means completely suitable, proper, or right for a specific person, condition, occasion, or place. For example, please ensure you wear appropriate clothes for the formal job interview. Wow, we're halfway through. You are doing absolutely amazing. We have complete 50 words, and we'll continue in part 2. Thanks for listening.